Okay, let's kind of summarize. This lesson was about graphing radical functions, cubic functions, or not cubic, but cube root, okay? Any kind of radical function. We've got this general form here. Let me just point out. Let me go red, in fact, so maybe it's a little more visible. So I'm looking right here. That's not red. So I'm looking right here. So we've got a general equation like this. Like, let me just rewrite it. Y equals a x minus h plus k. Really, we would just want to understand what do these different parts do, okay? And they summarize that right down here. So a, if it's negative, it's going to flip the graph. It's going to reflect it over the x-axis. It's going to put it upside down. Now, if a is a positive number like 2, 3, whatever, it's going to stretch it vertically. We call that. If it's a fraction, like in between 0 and 1, 1/2, 1/3, something like that, we call that a vertical shrink. So it's going to kind of compress the graph a little bit. Not too big a deal. Now h, under the radical here, or inside the expression with x, causes a horizontal shift. And it talks about that right here. This one, there's a negative built right in the equation. So sometimes it feels like it's backwards. Like this example they're showing us, x plus 1. You think, oh, maybe that goes 1 to the right. Well, no, it's the opposite. It actually shifts 1 to the left. Okay? And then k is a vertical shift out here. Again, it sums that up right there. And the sign makes sense. If it's a plus 5, it goes up 5. If it's a minus 5, it goes down 5. So this graph, square root of x, there's a basic square root function. That's a parent function. So this negative flips it upside down, stretches it a little bit. It shifted left 1 and down 4. So if we just start here, left 1, down 4, and then again it was stretched a little bit. Okay, so types of things you're going to run into on this assignment. A little practice today. I was just going to throw some graphs at you. Now, ideally, we could look at them and just recognize, but I want to show you a tool. Okay, so if we look at this guy, well, shifted right 2, up 5. Right 2, up 5. Well, which of these is right 2, up 5? Well, it looks like this one to me. Okay. Normal square roots down here, so right 2 and up 5. Hey, this looks like the only possible one there. This one was left 2, right 5, so they tried to trick us. But I want to show you a tool. If you're not using Desmos, let me try to get you to buy into this thing. It's awesome, and it's totally free. Okay, and you can use this when you come in, take your final. So worst case, you've got to graph something. Like, man, I don't know what that graph looks like. Well, go to Desmos and graph it. So click here, bring up your square root, x minus 2, go over, plus 5. Hey, there it is. And again, I've got my window kind of small so I could fit it on the screen here. But you can play around with it and look. Hey, clearly it's that one, right? Not too bad. How about this? Cube root function. Well, it works the same way. This thing is compressed 3/5. It shifted right 4 and down 1. Right 4 and down 1. So if you had an idea what cube root of x looked like, I hope you could just look at that graph and describe it. But again, let's just go to Desmos and let's put it in, okay? So now, 3/5, and that's why I encourage you to play with Desmos a little bit so you be familiar typing things in. Cube root, let me show you where you can find cube root. Click functions here, miscellaneous, I'm already on, and just click the root there. So type a 3 in for the root, then just go into the radical. X minus 4, and then over to get outside there, minus 1. And again, let me get rid of that. Hey, you can see clearly it is this guy right here, right? That's what matches. You can drag it over a little. And so it is letter D. Hey, not too bad. So really encourage you. Take advantage of Desmos. Take your time going through. No reason to miss any of these questions when you got access to something like Desmos.